Samsung has just released the S26 Ultra, and let's be real, no one really expected it to be that much better. They release like this same phone every year, but when I say that they made some actual downgrades this generation, that I did not expect. There's a lot of things that Samsung didn't mention about this, so today I wanted to see if this new phone is even worth it, and what has Samsung done to the display? Samsung... Wait a second, how are there so many reviews already? How does everyone get the phone so early? I had to use my real money and wait a whole week for this to come. And what do you mean 512GB for the same price as 256? How about this is the real price? And then this 256 should be like $10.99 or something. And what are these NPC default skin colors? And what do you mean this is the Plus and this is the Ultra? Why do they look almost the same now? Sorry, I almost lost my mind for a second. And while you're here, subscribe and help me reach 100 billion subscribers before GTA 6. Thanks. Anyway. Samsung's biggest feature this year is the new privacy display. Long story short, instead of having to buy a screen protector, now the privacy is inbuilt into the screen and you can toggle it on and off. You can hide certain apps or just the notifications. It sounds pretty cool, but it has some problems. Personally, I don't really care about this feature, so when they announced it, my honest reaction was, that's your biggest feature? And I can't help but think that the top 2 comments on Samsung's video are paid actors. So see, if I'm watching some content and if I tilt the phone to the side, almost everything is still visible, right? But if I enable the privacy mode, first of all, the brightness drops, and then look, it's visible, it's still visible, it's still visible, it's still visible, it's still visible. Wait a minute. Online, you see videos where the screen goes pitch black the second you turn the screen. But in reality, it doesn't do that much. Turns out if you drop the brightness quite a lot, it goes from kinda visible to barely visible. But if you're on max brightness, this doesn't really protect that much. There is an option called maximum privacy protection, which kind of sounds like some antivirus option. But if you enable that, the screen goes very grey and it's all washed out. So in this mode, it does work a lot better, but then the screen is terrible. And if you know what an IPS glow is, this is what it looks like. And if I put the brightness all the way down, yeah, now it works. But there's an even bigger problem that almost ruins this phone for me. So I have an S25 Ultra side by side, both phones on 1440p with privacy display disabled. I might be going crazy, but I think they've done something to the screen. This is extremely difficult to see on camera, but everything just looks over sharpened. There's some kind of an outline around icons, and I can literally see pixels around stuff. Immediately, this gave me Vietnam flashbacks of when I tried the Galaxy A16. The most budget phones, they use over sharpening and they just look really cheap. And I can literally see that on a £1,300 Ultra phone. How? And if you enable the privacy display, the resolution looks even worse now. Now it looks more like 720p. I suspect that having this new screen technology with narrow and wide pixels did something to the screen, which is kind of sad. Also, a lot of people thought that this was a 10-bit panel. Turns out it's not, if you even care about that. Another trade-off with the privacy display is the anti-reflectivity, because I might be going crazy again, but apart from a slight tint difference, I'm pretty sure the S26 Ultra is a tiny bit less reflective. It's not a big difference, but that's still a little trade-off. Believe it or not, there's another downgrade, but for this one, you're gonna need a case like the one from our sponsor, TORRAS. They have a few cool accessories such as the TORRAS Q3 Air. It has built-in squishy airbags that give you bouncy protection, and a magnetic ring which lets you stick the phone on a wireless charger or to a microwave to record some unique angles, but that ring also pops out and spins 360 degrees, which basically acts as a pocket tripod. And it's really useful because you can prop it up and record from many positions like this one. There's also the Q3 Veg Skin, which has very fancy feeling vegan leather that doesn't leave any fingerprints and has the same 360 ring stand. And the last piece to the puzzle is their Orange Armor screen protector. So you pop your phone in, wipe the screen, pop this down, click it into place, pull the tab, slide this thing, and you have a bubble-free screen protector that's still anti-reflective and has the privacy mode. I'm gonna leave all the links in the description. So last year's S25 Ultra had a titanium frame, which means it sounds really good on paper. And you can brag to your friends how the phone is built with the same material as the jet from GTA 5. No, but that literally has 1.5% titanium. I love titanium on my S25 Ultra, even though I can't see it behind that case, but I know that deep inside it's still titanium, and that makes me happy. But Samsung doesn't have the same appreciation as I do, because this year they downgraded back to armor aluminium, which kind of sounds less impressive than iron armor in Minecraft. They definitely saved some money, and I'm sure the heat conductivity is better on aluminium, but it just doesn't sound cool anymore. Titanium, aluminium. And a lot of people will probably disagree, but this phone just feels kind of cheap. I don't know why, I don't really like how it feels. Combine the aluminium with the weird over-sharpening, for some reason it just reminds me of the A16. Maybe I'm a little bit too harsh, so let's talk about the cameras, and I'm happy to announce that once again they didn't change the sensors. So you're telling me that Vivo is out there creating gangster phones? The X300 Ultra has a massive telephoto sensor which is 200 megapixels, has some crazy new stabilization and a freaking telescope attachment. And you wanna know Samsung's reaction? This is real footage, by the way. Boss, our competition is literally clapping our cheeks. I see. I guess we could improve the aperture a little bit. That will do for the next 9 years. What about Vivo? Yeah, don't worry about it. They're not even gonna notice. If you're wondering what a 47% brighter aperture looks like, it looks like this. With the exact same settings, it actually looks a bit brighter. Wow, no way, that's crazy. But since I'm something of a YouTuber myself now, I feel like I have to actually go outside and show you the camera improvements. The first thing I wanted to test is the new horizon lock. And at first glance, there isn't too much of a difference, even though I told the guy to basically just shake the camera. But to really exaggerate the difference, just imagine I did this with the camera. And now, yeah, you can actually see it working. However, because just like before, it uses the ultra-wide sensor, it crops in massively. It needs an insane amount of light and leaves you with a crusty 1440p video, even in the best case scenario in daylight. So this isn't like a new default mode that you'll use all the time. The quality drops quite a lot, so you'll probably barely ever enable that. But it's still a nice upgrade though. Then it was time to test the vanilla camera. And when I took a few pictures, my immediate reaction was, wow, this is boring. I can barely tell the difference. But that's because I didn't know about the new 24 megapixel default mode. But then this happened. There's supposed to be this new 24 megapixel default mode, but for some reason you need to download Camera Assistant, scroll all the way down, find advanced resolution settings, tick the 24 megapixels, and for some reason it doesn't save us 24 megapixels. Also settings to keep high picture resolution, so why is it that when I exit out and go back to camera mode, it's back on 12 megapixels. What's going on? Also, don't you think it's a bit disrespectful how the S25 Ultra users have the same camera sensor, but they're not able to do 24 megapixels? What's going on? There's also a feature called nightography, which is night mode but for video. And it turns out that there is no option to enable it, it's just automatic. Turns out I was bamboozled, and this new nightography isn't even a new feature. All they really meant was that the camera is brighter now, but at the time I didn't really know that, so let's see what I was gonna yap about. As you can see, it's not nighttime. It's way too bright, so it's not even gonna work, unless I climb into a bush or something. So then I found the sketchiest looking place, sat down and waited for the sun to go down. There you go, much better. And yet, this was almost pitch black, and the video is brighter, especially in the shadows. The 5x telephoto is also a bit brighter, but it's not a massive difference. Something weird happened when I took the first photo in low light. For some reason, I had this purple tint on the S26 Ultra. I thought this was a glitch, so I took another photo and the same thing happened again. That needs a fix. But then the next photo, I was pleasantly surprised because the S26 Ultra had a cleaner image, especially in the fence area. That had a whole new layer of detail. Same thing with the grass, big difference. So I carried that same excitement into the telephoto camera and I don't know, it's not really something that you'll notice coming from the S25 Ultra. I went to the sketchiest places for these videos. It was literally pitch black. I could have died for this video, but you know what? It was worth it because in the end, I learned that the new phone has a slightly better camera. Speaking of those cameras, they really had to just move those two little cameras out the way. And as you can see, this is the S25 Ultra and the new case doesn't fit by like 2mm because they moved the camera. And if you think the S25 Ultra had pretty bad camera wobble, watch this. What the hell is this? But the one new feature that I do kinda like is the APV codec. So only about 5 of you will even care about this. In these raw log files, the APV has a bit more detail in the noise. There's definitely less noise reduction, but get this, 5 seconds normal log video is 59 megabytes. APV is over 500 and 8K APV in the highest quality is 2 gigabytes for 5 seconds. What in the world? So for 99% of people, especially for YouTube, this doesn't really make a difference, but I still think it's pretty cool. But I have another complaint because the S Pen is now curved with the body. So if you put it in the wrong way, it kind of sticks out a bit. Mild inconvenience, but it's still a little weird. Also, there's this weird sound when you push it in. It's this weird springy sound, which again, very nitpicky, but I feel like I had to mention this. Massive W for Samsung for improving the charging speeds. Because look, from 22%, only 42 minutes to fully charge, which is pretty good. According to my power bank, it charged over 50 watts and it's supposed to go up to 60. Although the battery size didn't change, Bossman's video shows that there's actual battery life improvements. I'm guessing from the better cooling solution and the more efficient processor. And the majority of other upgrades is just AI stuff, which I really don't care about. I've literally never used a single AI feature on the S25 Ultra. So in the end, I think this is a weird upgrade. The screen kind of put me off, and yeah, the cameras have seen a small boost, but if you really care about the cameras, just buy the X300 Ultra. That is literally on another universe. And everything else about this phone is not really that much different from the S25 Ultra. But if you're coming from an older phone like an S22 Ultra, yeah, there will be a pretty big difference, but then the S25 Ultra is still getting like 6 years of support, so I guess you could save a lot of money. But I don't know. Let me know what you think and I'll see you in the next video.